Bonjour Afrique, bienvenue. Hello Africa, welcome to Johannesburg, South Africa, as we resume the journey to the TotalEnergies CAF Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2025. An event that we're all looking forward to with excitement, you can tell. And let me remind you, 2 years ago, the CAF president, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, told us that the world and Africa would come together for the greatest football spectacle of them all, the Cup of Nations. And he wasn't wrong. The numbers don't lie. The recently held TotalEnergies Africa Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire will always be remembered by football people such as myself and those of you around Africa as the best AFCON in living memory. Let's look at those numbers. 2 billion digital views, 1.4 billion TV audiences. Over 110 broadcasters took the AFCON around the world and broadcasted to their viewers. And the record TV audiences that we saw in Italy, the UK, and many other parts of the world will never potentially be surpassed. There is no doubt that the AFCON is the biggest event on African soil. And just to remind us, let's relive it. Let's go back and have a quick inspiration of what this game is about.
This is the TotalEnergies Africa Cup of Nations, live and direct from the Côte d'Ivoire. Whether you balled in Boaké or earn your stripes in the Banlieue, the streets have produced kings, but this is the crown that they'd all choose. All to be loved and to be celebrated. Where reputations are made, but some are taken. Where scripts are written but never followed, because you could be here today, but gone tomorrow. You saw what happened between Ghana and Mozambique. The Mambas are moments away from facing defeat. If I speak, speak. The Black Stars made mistakes that they hoped they would never repeat. But this competition wasn't made for the weak. 3 p.m. in Abidjan is like 34 degrees. Each team carries their nation's hopes and dreams, and each fan hopes they can channel their belief into their countrymen's feet. Favorites fell and the underdogs prevailed. The hosts held their breath as their campaign nearly derailed. Equatorial Guinea turned the group on its head and almost sent Les Elephants home for an early bed. So the thing about this game is you can rise from the depths, create your own path and shine like one of the best. But even the best have to taste sorrow. Kimi had a chance to go level. Moments later, we said goodbye to Morocco. But this tournament is not a respecter of names, but a maker of legends. Where heroes are produced in the dying seconds. Where love is shared, but nothing given. Where giants collide for the price of winning. Where crowds hold a vibe in perfect rhythm. Where flags are worn to show the pride within. Where colors are shown. Where we pray for a win. Right here is where the stories begin. This is AFCON, the pride of African football.
Amazing, amazing. And I still get goosebumps when I look back and I reflect on the moments that Africa Cup of Nations brought us. But now, it's time for me to welcome someone who is so special to us all. The 48 nations who are all waiting their fate today. They're here as guests in the background, and those guests are going to be absolutely on the edge of their seats, waiting to find out which group they'll be in. But before I get to that, here he is. Emerse Faé will be joining me on stage to give us a sense of what it was like at the last Africa Cup of Nations. Emerse Faé, the head coach of Côte d'Ivoire. You've got 62 caps for your nation. You're a man who played in that central midfield with aplomb in your playing days, and now walked away with coach of the tournament at the Cup of Nations. Coach, it's a pleasure to be with you today. And coach, the question that I need from you, that I think everyone wants to know is, when you take over, the tournament isn't going well for Côte d'Ivoire, and what goes through your mind when you have to think, my first game is against Senegal. A few hours ago, we thought we were out of this tournament. What happened then? How did you feel?
It was very difficult for me. It was a moment so difficult because we lost 4-0 against Guinea Equatorial on Monday, and on Wednesday we were waiting for the game against Morocco and Zambia. So it was difficult. It was my birthday too, and on the morning, the president called me to ask me to take the team. I didn't hesitate because I love my country and I wanted my country give another face of what we done after.
Tell the truth, coach. Did you believe in your heart of hearts that you could go all the way, that you could lift the trophy, that you'd be coach of the tournament, that the Elephants would win their second Africa Cup of Nations? Did you really think, as you took over, we can go from here to take it all?
Yeah, I believe.
Really?
I believe. Yeah, I believe. I knew that it will be very difficult, but I believe. If I didn't take the team for the tournament, so I believe it.
And the Cup of Nations, what is it left for the people of Cote d'Ivoire? When we look at the stadium, the road, is Cote d'Ivoire a different place because of the AFCON?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I want to congratulate the President of the Republic for all he done for the infrastructure, for the stadium, for the roads, and I want to congratulate him. And since the African Cup, the face of Cote d'Ivoire is changed, and everybody on the world want to come to Cote d'Ivoire, want to come to visit this country because the atmosphere is good, the population is good, so it's a good thing for Cote d'Ivoire.
Coach Emerse Faé has experienced almost every sensation you could feel at the Cup of Nations. He was in a quarterfinal, he was in a semi-final, he was runner-up in a final, and he's lifted the trophy as the head coach of Cote d'Ivoire. But now, let me move on because I need to introduce you to someone else who will be joining us here, and a man who almost needs no introduction, but there he is, wearing number 17 on his jersey in his playing days, 62 caps for Morocco, the quintessential target man, the big man in the box, the former Arsenal striker, Marwan Shamak, joins us here out of Morocco, who will be hosting the Cup of Nations. No one better to do the job, especially Marwan. Welcome, and also because you know the head coach so well. Walid Regragui was your teammate back in your playing days. How close are you guys? Are you still talking regularly?
Yeah.
Is he in touch with you?
Yeah. We're keeping on touch, of course. Yeah. He was a good player, and now we can see what he did from the World Cup to the. But okay, the last competition it wasn't too good, but yeah, he's a good guy and he's a very good coach. So I wish him the best for the next competition in Morocco, and I believe on him and I trust him, and I think it's going to be great, I think.
Let's talk about that, because you're mentioning it. I didn't want to say anything, but you mentioned it. The last Cup of Nations didn't go that well for Morocco, crashing out early. What did you learn? You know, what lesson can you take?
How we say to Emerse, the last competition was crazy. It was everything like a nice atmosphere, but like it was crazy because even like Ivory Coast, they came from. We broke them from the depth because like they were like close to disqualify, and we can see they won, and I'm happy for them because like they deserve it, and we can see it like we miss it for nothing, like we missed a penalty against South Africa. It's like this, it's the football. Football is like this, and we can see how it's gonna be. So I'm happy to.
He said something to you about that Morocco were key for Cote d'Ivoire to go in and win the tournament?
Yeah. He told me. He helped us to win our competition. So I have to help him to win our competition.
If he can, yeah.
Marwan, I need this from you though. Very quickly, what can we expect? What can Africa expect when we get to Morocco in 2025? The people of Morocco, what are they expecting as well? And what can we expect when we get there?
We're waiting this competition since a long time, so we're gonna be happy to host like the big football competition. So we're gonna be happy to show our culture, but like the most important, we're gonna show our football, and we expect like from the beginning to the end, like we expect it's gonna be good. Like we're gonna be nice. There is nice fans, nice stadium, everything to be happy there, and we're gonna be. I'm gonna be sure it's gonna be continue like this. We can see like African Cup after African Cup is getting better. The quality of level 2 Like we can see now, it's still high level. And it's getting hard for everybody now. We can see there is like no favorites, not favorites. So we are happy I can't wait to see this competition.
Well, the current hosts of the last Africa Cup of Nations, they won the tournament. So, Emerse, the hosts again are looking confident with what Marwan is saying here. The last time they hosted the tournament, 1988, was Morocco's last time. They came fourth. But the confidence that I'm getting from Marwan is making me feel that 2025 could be Morocco's time. Thank you, gentlemen. The AFCON provided fans with an unforgettable experience, evoking a range of emotions, including joy, sadness, despair, and hope. The 2023 finals saw record goals, 119 goals, with an average of 2.29 goals per game. While these figures are indicative of the attacking potential of the teams, yeah, it was great attack, but who can forget the goalkeepers and the penalties? Marwan hasn't. He remembers what happened in penalty shootouts there. And then we can never forget the heroic performances from the teams no one thought would do something. Angola, Cabo Verde, Equatorial Guinea, they surprised us. And then don't forget what happened with the big nations. The big guns came seemingly with not enough ammunition. Algeria, Cameroon, Tunisia, Senegal, the defending champions, all going home early. In Cote d'Ivoire, it was amazing. It's now part of our football history, and I want us to relive those spectacular moments.
Espetáculo! Cote d'Ivoire will play Nigeria on Sunday. The countdown begins for the big final. Nigeria are three-time winners. The Ivorians twice winners, twice runners-up. Flick on from Chukwueze. Tuesday, goal! Goal! Goal Nigeria! Rabale, back post chance, goal! Cote d'Ivoire are back in the game. Can he cross? It's a great ball. It's a goal. There it is. It's all over. Cote d'Ivoire are the African champions. What a fairy tale story here. It's a magnificent comeback from the host country. There they are, the champions of Africa. Cote d'Ivoire on home soil lift the African Cup of Nations.
Champions of Africa, Cote d'Ivoire. But now, as we get into the main part of what today is all about, 48 nations, one
If you're wondering about the TotalEnergies Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2025 qualifiers draw procedures, here are the principles guiding this process. The draw includes 48 teams divided into 4 pots, each containing 12 teams based on the official FIFA rankings issued on June 20, 2024. There will be 12 groups of 4 teams. The first ball will be drawn from pot 4 and will go to position A4. The procedure will be repeated for the remaining teams of pot 4, who will go to positions B4, C4, D4, all the way to L4. The same procedure will be repeated for pot 3, pot 2, and finally pot 1. The first and the runner-up of the 11 groups where the host is not playing will qualify to the final tournament. For the group of the host, since the host is automatically qualified despite its result, the following scenarios will be applied. If the host is ranked first, they qualify alongside the second-ranked team in the group. If the host is ranked second, third, or fourth, they qualify along with the first. Now, let the draw begin.
Et pour commencer, Mawa, on va commencer par toi, juste pour réexpliquer. Le premier balle tiré va aller directement dans le groupe A, dans la position A4. Deuxième balle tiré va aller dans le groupe B, dans la 4e position. Toutes les équipes dans le pot K vont correspondre dans les 4e positions de tous les groupes de A à L. Et après, on va passer par le pot 3, on va faire la même chose. On va aller directement dans le groupe A, dans la 3e position de A au groupe L. Et coach, on fait la même chose par vous. On commence par le pot 2 et après on termine par le pot 1. Et maintenant, pour commencer, Marwan, on va juste regarder toutes les équipes qui vont être tirées dans le pot. And now to start, let us have a look at all the 12 teams in pot number 4, which will be drawn very shortly. Si bien pour Swatini will be in position I4. See Marwan? Swatini are still searching for their first appearance at the final tournament, but they defeated Somalia in a 5-2 aggregate in the qualifiers in the preliminary rounds. And for Group J,
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe, also known as the Warriors, they will be in J4. See Marwan? Easy. Zimbabwe have been to 5 African Cup of Nations final tournaments.
South Sudan.
In Group K, we have South Sudan. South Sudan will be in position K4. South Sudan are the latest members of CAF. They joined CAF.
Il vient de rejoindre la CAF
2012.
en 2012.
Last but not the least, to
Le
confirm
dernier, mais
Marwan,
pas le moindre,
Burundi.
Burundi completes our pot number
le
4.
Burundi va compléter le groupe, c'est-à-dire le groupe
L4.
L,
Only
la
previous
position
appearance
L4.
of
Leur
Burundi was in
précédente
Egypt in
apparition, c'était en
2019.
Égypte
They missed
en
narrowly in the last
à
AFCON.
2019.
And now we move to pot number 3.
Nous allons
Marwan,
prendre le
avant de
troisième pot.
commencer, on va regarder toutes les équipes qui vont être tirées. So now let's look at the teams in pot number 3. And now the team that will be joining
Les
the
équipes qui
Gambia
vont
in Group A,
rejoindre
Marwan,
la Gambie dans le groupe
that, we are going to go into the teams that are going to draw.
The 12 teams that will be drawn from pot number 2. Bien à vous, coach. On commence.
We shall start now, coach.
Madagascar.
Madagascar.
Madagascar, also known as the barrier, they will be in Group A in position A2, joining fellow islanders Comoros and the Gambia. See, coach?
Thank you, coach.
Madagascar only appearance in the final tournament was in Egypt 2019, where they reached the quarterfinals. We'll be hoping for a second qualification in the final tournament in Morocco.
Gabon.
Gabon.
Gabon will be in Group B in position B2, joining Central African Republic and Lesotho. And now for Group C, coach. The Panthers, as they're known, the first qualified in 1994, the quarterfinalists in 1996, and in 2012. They'll be hoping for a 9th qualification in the final tournament.
Cap Verde.
Cape Verde.
The Blue Sharks will be in Group C, joining Mauritania and Botswana in C2. FC coach. Cape Verde were quarterfinalists at the last edition. They made their debut here in South Africa in 2013.
going to pot
And now
number
we
one.
move to pot number 1, which contains the 12 teams, the heavyweights of African football, the best of the best which we have, which will be occupying the first positions from Group A all the way to Group L. And now, let us have a look at the video presentation of the 12 teams that will be completing our draw for this afternoon. And now to complete Group A, coach, fate of the teams are in your hands. Benin, as they're in the same group as the World Cup qualifiers, they'll be in Group D in position D1, where they'll be playing against Liberia and Rwanda in Group D. And
Coach, please
Super Eagles
continue.
of Nigeria are 3-time champions. They'll be targeting their 21st appearance in the final tournament. They finished in the top 3 AFCONs at least 16 times. tournament since 2015. And this concludes our draw, ladies and gentlemen. Merci beaucoup, coach.
Thank you so much, coach. It was very wonderful. And thank you. And now, we are going to look at all the 12 groups, starting from Group A.
Tunisia, Madagascar, Comoros, and the Gambia. In Group B, we have Morocco, Gabon, Central African Republic, and Lesotho. In Group C, we have Egypt, Cape Verde, Mauritania, and Botswana. In Group D, Nigeria, Benin, Liberia, Rwanda. Group E, we have Algeria, Equatorial Guinea, Togo, and Liberia. In Group F, we have Ghana, Angola, Sudan, and Niger. Group G, we have Côte d'Ivoire, Zambia, Sierra Leone, and Chad. Group H, we have DR Congo, Guinea, Tanzania, and Ethiopia. In Group I, we have Mali, Mozambique, Guinea-Bissau, and Eswatini. In Group J, Cameroon, Namibia, Kenya, Zimbabwe. Group K, South Africa, Uganda, Congo, South Sudan. And finally, in Group L, we have Senegal, Burkina Faso, Malawi, and Burundi, which concludes our draw. From my side, I can wish all the 48 teams all the best of luck. And just as a reminder, the executive committee of CAF took the decision that the final tournament in Morocco would be from the 21st of December 2025 to the 18th of January 2026. It promises to be the most amazing AFCON ever organized, and the qualifiers will commence in September 2024 and will be concluding in November 2024. Thank you very much. Good luck to all the teams. And now I hand the floor back to our able MC. Thomas, back to you.
Samson, flawless as usual. What a fantastic draw. Africa, we now know what your journey looks like to get to the Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco in 2025. Marwan as well as Emerse are standing by to give their sense of what took place. And I'm going to start with the coach. Coach, you're part of the draw. You're looking at how it's going. In your mind, were you thinking, Group A maybe, or Group B, I don't want to be there, or Group C? Were you actually processing it in your mind, or just taking balls out?
Yes, just taking balls out. And I don't mind which team I gonna play. I just want to play to win each game. So,
well, now you know who you're up against. You're up against Côte d'Ivoire, you're up against Zambia, you're up against Sierra Leone, and you're up against Chad. There's a former champion there in Zambia. That's going to be interesting. Anything to be concerned for as far as you're concerned?
Yeah. We played against Zambia for the last qualifying of African Cup, so we know this team very well. And about Chad and Sierra Leone, we're gonna discover them. The most important for me were to not have a long trip, and with these two short trips, we're gonna be good.
Now, Marwan, everyone looks at the draw as it's happening and says, group of death. Which is the toughest group? Which is the group that gives the most competition? You can look behind you, it's up on the wall there if you're...
For me, maybe the Group C with Egypt, Mauritania.
Group C?
Yeah, Egypt, Cape Verde, Mauritania, Botswana, it's hard, I think. I don't know, like Egypt for sure, and Mauritania, it's hard to play. We can see there is no more small teams. Yeah, and how we saw the last competition, like even like you came from the pot 4 or 3 and have chance like to qualify. So we say like we can win just on the pitch. So I know it's hard. We see like when you're traveling and everything, but yeah.
Coach, would you agree? Is it clearly Group C? Some might say Group D as well is in the conversation.
Yeah, I think the A group is difficult because Morocco, the Group B, pardon, will be difficult because Gabon is a very good team. We played against us last month, and it left only one seat for the tournament, so it will be a group very difficult.
Yeah, Group B, remember, only one of the other nations there in Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, as well as Lesotho can qualify. Morocco have already qualified. They take one of the spots automatically. So now the other 3 teams play for that one place. Tough. I understand that, and I can see why you said that's going to be a tough place to play. But if you had to choose one, other than the group that Morocco's in, which is your group of death, Coach?
I think the L1, because Senegal and Burkina Faso are 2 very big teams. Malawi is a team very difficult to play home, and Burundi is in our group for the World Cup qualifying, and a very difficult team to play to.
As you mentioned, the World Cup qualifiers, those in Nigeria will be looking at that and saying, same group again with Benin. Benin got a good result against Nigeria in World Cup qualifying, and again, now for the Cup of Nations, they play against each other. But guys, the other thing we need to focus on, gentlemen, is that the qualifiers, they start in September, and Marwan, the qualifiers, will be done by November. That is the fastest we've ever seen qualifying for the Cup of Nations. What's that going to be like for the players?
We are lucky because
'25, it's the place to be, but the road there is what we're all about now. Take care. I'm Thomas Mlambo. Thank you for joining us. We can't wait.